Prompts are anything you add to a situation to make it more likely that a person will perform a skill correctly. Prompting can be used to teach a brand new skill or to strengthen a skill that the student can do but is not doing enough or quickly enough. Our goal is for students to engage in skills without help, at the right time, and at the right place. A new skill is not truly mastered until they can perform the skill completely independently. So any prompting we add into teaching, we must eventually fade out. The intrusiveness of a prompt is how much help it is providing for the student. This continuum may look slightly different depending on the individual as well as the skill. I am going to show you what two different prompting hierarchies, from most intrusive to least intrusive, might look like for two different skills. Putting on shoes is a skill that requires motor movements. So a most intrusive to least intrusive prompting hierarchy may look like the following. Physical prompts include full physical prompts, where the instructor physically guides the student's body to complete the skill, or hand over hand. Partial physical prompts allow the student and instructor to complete the skill jointly and use less support. Modeling prompts requires the student to have an imitative repertoire so they can imitate your demonstration of the task. The demonstration should look like the exact response you want the student to imitate. Verbal prompts could be a direct prompt such as, "Put on your shoes."
"Come put your shoes on."
Or indirect such as, "What do you need to go outside?" Gestural prompts are nonverbal cues such as pointing to or tapping something to remind a student to do something. Visual prompts can include pictures or visual schedules. And finally, the natural stimuli or independence. For a verbal response, such as answering a question, "What is a toy you can bounce?"
"What is a toy that you can bounce?"
A prompting hierarchy may look like the following. Verbal prompts include a full verbal prompt to provide the entire word or phrase for the student to say.
"A ball."
A ball!
"Good girl, it is a ball."
Or a partial verbal prompt provides just the start of the word or phrase.
"What is a toy that you can bounce?"
Gestural prompts may be used for a verbal response if a student uses a communication device or sign language. Visual prompts could be a picture or an object. And finally, the natural stimulus or independence.
"What is a toy that you can bounce?"
A ball! Remember, what constitutes more or less intrusive is dependent on the specific skill you are teaching and each student. So prompting hierarchies must be individualized to the learner and should be created based on what would be easiest to fade to independence. Here are some tips to making prompting more effective. Always keep the natural cue in mind, as prompts are used carefully and removed. Timing is important. Providing prompts with or immediately after the natural cue will ensure the skill occurs correctly and within the right context. Prompts that work with one child may not work with another, as well as prompts used to teach one skill may not work to teach other skills for that same person. Use prompting that capitalizes on a student's existing skills to be able to provide the least intrusive but most effective prompt. If a student is great at imitating, use model prompts. If a student does not like being touched, use gestural and visual prompts. Any prompt you use should produce accurate responses. If a prompt is not successful, it's just extra stuff that is getting in the way, so remove it from your teaching and move on to a different prompt. Be careful of accidental or inadvertent prompting, such as movements, eye gazes, or facial expressions. Remember, verbal hints and cues are only considered prompts if they increase the likelihood of correct responding. They should only be required one time. Otherwise, you are teaching the student to just not listen to you the first time.